Who's putting on this up?
The gallery in DC.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Out in California.
Yay.
North.
We could just wait 1 more minute or 2 minutes, and then we're gonna just start.
I have a division meeting at 2:30 our time, which is in about a half an hour, at the college I teach at. So I'm gonna have to
Jump out.
I'm gonna have to sneak back and forth between this and my division meeting.
Absolutely. I have a couple colleagues of mine, Jen and Lizzie, helping me out. So they're keeping track of people. So I will do my thing, and they're keeping track of who's joining in and out. So they will let you back in.
Okay.
And we're gonna have recording as well, so we'll post it online as well.
Okay, I'm not gonna leave. I'm just gonna mute my camera and then I'm gonna mute back and forth.
That sounds good. All right, I think we have a good group to start. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to just do brief welcome remarks. Welcome to the virtual opening reception for Touchstone Gallery's International Juried Show, Us, What Divides Us and What Unites Us. I would like to first thank Touchstone Gallery's board and member artists for allowing me to take over the gallery space once a year for the juried shows covering concurrent topics. Special thank you for all the jurors who worked with me on this exhibit. Thank you for your flexibility and understanding how much your collaboration in this kind of projects means to all the artists who apply. And of course, thank you to all the artists who answered our call and applied. We appreciate your support more than ever. It's also incredible to see how many creative people out there. It really gives me hope that humanity is not at a loss. If you have been to our past openings, you know that we packed the room with many people spilling out outside. We have a free open bar and never kick anybody out. It's unfortunate that this year we're hosting our opening virtually, but on the plus side, I have to say, for once, I don't need to worry about the rain, melting ice, and I have a luxury of pretty much unlimited wall space to play with while we're setting up this show. And on this note, I would like to give a mic to one of the jurors. Let me see who could be here. I want to call out
Justin, what's the problem?
Gabriel Ritter, if you logged in. Let's see. Or if not yet, maybe let's start with Miranda Lombardi, Associate Director of Creative Affairs Office, who's here on behalf of DC's Office of Cable Television, Film, and Entertainment.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here and to see such a big amount of people who are here for this this opening reception. Yeah, I run the DC Creative Affairs office here in Washington, DC, and as you can imagine, the arts are a huge part of the work that we do, and galleries such as yours and exhibits such as this are vitally important for the culture that we have here in DC and the connectivity. And I was super excited to take a look at some of this work and to hear a little bit more about this Juried exhibition. I mean, I think the topic of what divides us and what connects us is certainly powerful under any circumstances, but it's even more powerful. It feels more powerful, at least to me right now. The work is just beautiful, at least the little bit I've seen, and I'm excited to dig more into the exhibition and see more. So I really want to thank you for allowing me the time to be here, and also the work that all of the jurors and artists have done to create such a beautiful opportunity for us to come together today. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us. All right, let's see. Who do we have here? There's so many people to look over. Let me just call out if any of the jurors joined us yet. Yes. Then I'm gonna just call in, we have a couple artists joining who I asked to say a few words. And first I wanted to reach out to Jamila Kola and Sonia Redimer, all the way from South Africa. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Senior. Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
It's late down there, right?
Sorry.
It's getting late down there, right?
Yeah, it's almost, well, it's not midnight, but close, close.
All right, you have a microphone. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we created a work called The Longest Minute. We created it as a direct response to the killing of George Floyd, which happened on the 25th of May, 2020. And we wanted to work with the idea of breath and what it meant to be human and its relation with life.
Yeah, we want to do the actual work is only 1 minute long, and it's called The Longest Minute. And we worked with working in such a short time span. We highlighted the idea and the understanding that life and humanity and breath is connected into one, and if that is taken away from us, we lose our connection with one another and with life.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for submitting your work all the way from what seems like far away, but in this virtual world, everything's so close, right?
Yeah.
Welcome. And I would like to ask the juror, Gabriel Ritter, curator and head of contemporary art at Minneapolis Institute of Art, to say a few words. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Well, it's so nice to see all of you. You know, when we received the applications, we were really obviously looking at your artwork and your submission. So it's so nice. Now I'm scrolling through, I can see there's over like 5 pages of people. So thank you so much for your wonderful submissions, and thank you too for joining us. I guess it's this evening, but it could be anytime wherever you are. I just wanted to say that it was a pleasure during this exhibition, but especially now when really what it means to be a curator, I think really is in question, and just as precarious as I think any other kind of situation. You know, we're unable to travel to see your art in situ and do studio visits. Our museum here in Minneapolis was closed from March 13th all the way through July 16th. So we hadn't been open to the public for quite a long time. And so it was such a breath of fresh air, one, to be invited and to see so much wonderful work, and to see really, you know, the diversity of submissions. But I think what I found most heartening was that there was a sense, especially working with my fellow jurors, a kind of sense of connectedness through much of the work that was ultimately selected. It was a range of, you know, work that was sometimes quite emotional, most of which I would say was incredibly timely, which I also appreciated, that so much of it seemed to be a response to our current moment. And of course also moments of pain, and I would say of anger, which very, very warranted. But more than anything, I really felt a sense of kind of connectedness, and seeing all of you now really brings that home for me. So so pleased to be here, and congratulations to everyone, and thank you again for selecting me to see all of your work. It was really, the pleasure was all mine. So thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Next, I would like to ask to say a couple words, Kristen Hileman, who is the independent curator and curator-in-residence at the Delaware Contemporary.
Well, hello, everyone. And I really would echo Gabriel's generous words and agree that this experience was just quite extraordinary. To see all of your very meaningful and powerful work at a time when, you know, we do feel disconnected from one another was a real exercise in re-engaging with the art community in a visceral way that spoke to the heart. And, you know, I just would emphasize that there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entries. And so, you know, it was a difficult process to get to these artists, that this group of artists that are in the virtual exhibition and that are with us tonight. But the caliber of your work really stood out strongly. And again, it spoke to our aesthetic sensibilities, but also spoke to our sense of this cultural moment. And I congratulate you all on making important visual statements at a time when I think we need artists to advance us and also to help heal our culture. So keep up the good work and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Next, we have one of the artists, Chantal Leslie, joining us to say just a few words about her piece.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to I'm just so grateful to be a part of the show, first of all. And thank you to everyone who's here to listen to me talk about my piece and just about my story. Sorry. But my piece is called Anything But Brown. And I'm a photographer, so it's part of a 5-picture series. And it's basically just a photographic representation of a performance of a ritual that I used to do as a child. And so basically I grew up on a Mexican-American border town, Brownsville, Texas. It's on the very southern tip of Texas. And growing up, I didn't see people who looked like me in media. I didn't see myself in my favorite movies or magazines or even Disney princesses, anything like that. And so just something I would do when I was just playing with my Barbies is put baby powder on myself just to try and mimic the color of their skin. And the title comes from when I was 19 years old. It was the first time I was away from my dominantly Hispanic community. And I was living in Florida in an apartment with 5 other girls. And we were talking about what we would change our eye color to. And one of my roommates, I know she didn't mean it in a terrible way, but she said anything but brown. And that just kind of took me back to when I was a little girl and just kind of feeling shame of the color of my skin. And yeah, so I'm just really grateful for this show because I do believe that it is really important to show diversity and for people like me to be represented. And I feel like it would mean a lot to little girls like me to see themselves on a gallery wall.
Welcome to the show. All right, I'm gonna see if Alonzo Crawford is here. Yeah. One of the artists. Oh yes. Hi, how are you? Welcome aboard. All right, you have the mic.
Thank you. I want to thank Touchstone Gallery for inviting me and the selection committee for including my work. I submitted both painting and film. My film got in, so I'm very honored by that. I'm a small town boy from outside of Dayton, Ohio, and who stumbled into the arts trying to find a way of expressing myself. And so film and art was the best way, considering the environment where I grew up. And the film Crowded came out of an experience that I was making a film in Southwest DC, Washington, DC, about tenants' rights and housing. And I involved the community in the process, contrary to Hollywood, which says community get back. You know, we're making this film and I invited them in. As a result of that, they went and sued their landlord and I got subpoenaed, and my students, I did a community film workshop during the summers, and my students were subpoenaed and we all testified and they won their case. And I said, why did you do that? They said, if we could do it for the movie, we could do it for real. And I said, pedagogy in cinema, amazing. And of course, then I discovered Paulo Freire, you know, and then I said, where were you when I was making this movie? But anyway, my chairperson at Howard University, where I was employed on the faculty there, he was my mentor, that's Abi Ford. He brought me to Howard University and he supported this project. He was contacted by the Legal Aid Services in Baltimore to do the film or to do a documentation of the overcrowded conditions in the Baltimore City Jail. I agreed to do it on one condition, that they allow me to do a completed film. They only had $400 and I said, I'll put the rest of the money in. And my students, we went up there and of course, we had to step out in front of this crowd of men, you know, Black men. And it was very, very scary at first, but then I realized that in pedagogy, really in filmmaking, that if you involve the community in the process, they get involved, they get attached to the idea, and they help you. So the inmates decided to help us make the movie. The jail was designed to hold 900 inmates. When we were there were 2,000, and they were suing the landlord, the governor, the warden, the mayor, And so they allowed us to submit this project. And this was in 1978, by the way. So this film still has relevance today. And their condition was that it not be biased. And so therefore there's no narration to the movie. It's just the atmosphere of what goes on in the Baltimore City Jail. However, it is a position. We took a position to protest what's going on because, you know, as you know, the industrial complex now today is even relevant, you know, that this is overcrowded. And it was so crowded that you could be sleeping and insult, hurt, or accidentally hurt someone next to you because they were also jammed in the space. To give you an idea of how many people were there, their cafeteria was divided into half, and as the line comes in, the inmates will go to the other half to eat. But before breakfast was over, lunch had started. The line for lunch started before breakfast was over. That's how crowded it was. So they won their case, but at the same time, the problem still exists. So the inmates, they were very excited to see a camera. And so we had to deal with that problem because when you're deprived of your image on the screen, you get excited when you see a camera. And so I had to step up in the midst of 200 men and say, hey, look, do you want the judge to think it's pleasurable to be in jail? And so they all calmed down. And within an hour, everybody knew what was going on, that we were making the movie, and they helped us to do it. So that's what the film is really about. Pedagogy in cinema.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome aboard. Next, I wanted to ask another juror to say a couple words. We have, and I might mispronounce the name, I apologize. Frauke Josenhans, Associate Curator of Moody Center for the Arts at Rice University. My apologies.
That's okay. It's Frauke Josenhans. I get it all the time. Thank you so much, everyone. Huge congratulations to all of the artists who submitted a work of art, and really congratulations to all of you. And a special thank you to Xenia for organizing this virtual exhibition, which was really a huge endeavor. And I was so impressed by the whole process. I expected some technical problems, but there were none. It all went so smoothly and easily, and it was a real pleasure to participate in this whole progress. And I was just amazed by the submitted artworks. There was of such great diversity, variety. There were a lot of whimsical artworks, but all of them really had in common that they were very timely. And they really spoke to our shared community, our shared humanity, I would say. So some of them expressed the fragility of human lives, pointed toward what is going on right now, the times we are living through. Others were a little bit more metaphorical in a way, but they were all very poignant and relevant, and really just a pleasure to look at and to select some of them for the virtual exhibition. So thank you all, and bravo.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to see if Judith Levy is here, one of the artists. Look, I saw her name. Oh, here you are. Just to give you a mic to say a few words about your piece. You're muted. You're muted.
Okay.
All right.
How's that?
Perfect. And welcome.
Oh, great. Good. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you. I do want to thank everyone at Touchstone and all the jurors for making this exhibit possible. And I am really honored to be showing among such other excellent artists. It's a big question, a very big question. And I believe, and I'm reading this to make it brief, And I believe it's a question that contains hope as artists explore the specifics of their lives and their unique perspectives. They create transformational experiences for those who view their work. It is in these creations that hope is embraced, embedded, and where it begs, demands praise for space and cries for change. My work, Tearing, addresses the long-standing history of racism and anti-Semitism in the United States. I consider it a kind of performance photography. The work consists of 13 photographs that are inspired by the Jewish tradition of tearing one's clothing when grieving. In these photographs, I wear shirts that I tore for each of the 13 Americans who were murdered by racially motivated anti-Semitic killers. And the 11 of the 13 were Jewish members of a synagogue in Pittsburgh, and 2 were Black citizens of Jeffersontown, Kentucky, and this occurred in October 2018. Each person who died is named in my work by naming names, by acknowledging the dead, by sharing grief and suffering. Perhaps we can strengthen our sense of belonging to one another and find our way towards a better future for us all. So in my work, I really do try to say what isn't often said enough, and hope that something can come of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Judith.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's see if we have another juror or maybe another artist. I want to see if Shelley Lovenstein could say a couple words. Shelley? Oh, you muted. Hold on.
Okay. I'm so honored. I cannot believe you're asking me to talk.
Oh,
I'm not prepared at all. So I don't know about all of you, but for the next 40 some odd days are terrifying to me because of this topic about what unites us and what divides us. And I just think that as a country, we can do so much better. My piece is called The Great American Mask Divide, and it's a triptych. It's about 90 inches long, and it's about people who are wearing masks and people who choose not to wear masks and then die. But you don't see their death, they're just not there anymore. Anyway, I feel very strongly about it, and people say it's my right not to wear a mask, and okay, that's true, but it's not your right to get me sick. And that's part of the things that are happening in our country right now and what's dividing us. And it just seems so silly, but it is what it is. And I am honored to be part of this. And I can't wait to see the entire show. So congratulations to everybody, and congratulations to Touchstone, and a big, big virtual hug to Ksenia.
Thank you. Likewise, and back. Virtual hugs. All right, and we're still waiting for a couple of jurors, or one in particular, to join us. Well, in the meantime, let me announce Best in Show, sort of. It's always strange to me to pick a few pieces out of all the selection, or to ask jurors really to do the work as selecting specific people, because we need a selection already. But then we do highlight a few pieces that kind of stood out or connected between all the jurors. And I gotta say, all the jurors done an amazing work working together and coming up with selections. And I can only imagine how, I can't imagine how you can select anything. Every time I see the selection of work submitted, I am thankful that I don't have to do the job, to do the work selecting. So we have 3 works that winning awards, $300 cash award each. First is the piece Charcoal Drawing by Neville Barbour, The Homie in the Cafe. And I wanted to see if Neville was in here or not. If she's in, to say hi. All right, if she joins, then we will ask her to maybe say something, or you can see her work as part of the exhibit. Second piece and second award goes to Judith Levy for her photo series, Pairing. And I believe Judy won in the last year exhibit as well. Best in show for her piece in America is Juried Exhibit. So I'm just gonna unmute you so you can maybe say hi. Thank you.
A big thank you, a very big thank you. It means all the world to me. It does.
Congratulations.
Thank you so.
All right, and the third is goes to Barbara Brian Clare for her piece Shredded Flag. It's made out of ink and thread on paper. So I wanted to see if Barbara is in here or not. I guess not. What those three pieces were selected as kind of best of the best in the show. And also, I just found out actually right before logging in here that Touchstone Gallery was did again 4th year in a row now, won the best in DC category for commercial art gallery via Washington City Paper. We did the this was all done back in January, February, I believe, and the results, they just announced them now. So it's a kind of, with everything, delays and everything. So they finally published them, and I opened the link, and we won the first prize again, which is congratulations to all of you, because of your work and because of artists like yourself, that's what we get. It's not just because of the name of the gallery, because we're here. It's really the artists and the work, that's what makes it to be who we are. And I wanted to see one more person. I'm waiting to join. Hold on a second. Let me just see if she's here. All right. I wanted to ask someone who's one of the jurors who's from Washington, D.C., to say a few words. Karen Milbourne, Senior Curator at National Museum of African Art at the Smithsonian. Hello, Karen.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I was a little bit late in joining the party, but I hope everyone's got their cocktail.
Right on time.
Sorry?
Right on time. It's so good. All right, I'll give you the...
Well, I still hope that everyone has their cocktail to toast themselves for a job well done. I know that a great deal of effort went into this on Cassini and her team's part under these challenging circumstances to create the outreach and then to pull together really such a beautiful virtual exhibition. I really love that you do get to have the feel of seeing the objects in relationship to one another and having that sense of expansion that it creates. It's really been interesting. There was a lot of really compelling work submitted, and I very much enjoyed the conversations with the jury about the works. But what I really especially appreciated was just seeing the work that has been created and the way that in this time that so much of us think of as defined by division, people found voices about what it is that's human in each of us, and created such a wide range of work with such technical sophistication. So thank you all and congratulations.
Thank you.
To say
Hi, this is Barbara Brinkler. I'm actually here.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Okay.
All right.
So I'm driving, but my very, very good friend Julie is holding the phone. This is hands-free. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you very much. I very much appreciated the honor and of being in the show and for the award. And I just want to say my work was about the Charlottesville riot, but I have to say, unfortunately, it's relevant now, and it continues to be because we're such a afraid nation. So I hope that we can mend soon. So thanks again.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. All right, and I think this is it. We're kind of wrapping it up. We're done with our reception part, and the exhibit is published online. It's going to stay online until the election day. I was kind of, everything got pushed, and I thought, oh, that's a perfect day to kind of make it end at midnight. And because who knows what's going to happen really, which way, what will go. And it turned out to be the perfect day to wrap it up. So please visit us online. It's a virtual exhibit. Don't worry if you bump into walls, you kind of have to back off here and there. And like it's like a video game. My kids can handle video interactions like this very easily. My fingers slip and I'm bouncing off places. There's also an option for guided tour. You click on the guided tour and just let it take you piece to piece. There's all these buttons on the right where you can click for more information on each piece. You can click on information about specific artists. It will take you to their website or Instagram page. You can go back, you can take a pause. You can also use the navigation buttons or your mouth, either on a phone or computer, and kind of walk through the whole space. There are 3 rooms. So this was a luxurious amount of space, and I thought I might as well just kind of give each piece a little space instead of trying to put them all in one room. And take your time, walk around, read about pieces, come back. And thank you again for joining us. Since we have a few minutes here, and we have a couple of jurors here as well, still connected. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Maybe someone wants to say something. We have about 80 people still here. Anybody of the participating artists who would like to say something? I see quite a few names who I didn't call in. Connor Croza.
Hello.
Hi, and welcome back again with another show.
Muted, so you can't respond.
I'll put you in the spot and maybe ask you to introduce your piece.
Yeah, so I did the vase that's in the gallery, titled Trenton Vase Pandemic. And sort of more broadly in my practice, I'm interested in the relationship between sort of the decorative arts, I focus in ceramics, and sort of our socio-political power structures in the US. And this is a piece that I started before the pandemic sort of hit, back in March, and then everything hit all at once. And so I went up to quarantine with my family in Michigan because I didn't know how long this was gonna go on for. And while I was there, I just remember, you know, turning on the news, and different states handle everything very differently with this pandemic. And just seeing the images of armed white guys storming the state capitol with like AR-15s without masks on, in some sort of like twisted protest for their freedom. It was just absolutely horrifying. You know, especially I live with family members who are very at risk. And so I was trying to think about sort of how we're going to remember this in the future. You know, how do we construct these sort of histories and these stories after the fact, and how are we going to look back on this? And so for me, I was interested in using collage, sort of the language of imperial American ceramics, and sort of bringing together a whole bunch of different narratives from throughout the pandemic together to sort of memorialize the events that have happened over the past 6 months. and that'll probably keep on going on for the next several at least. So yeah, thank you for having me in the show.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And I see another artist here. Laura Sussman, I just saw you a second ago. Would you like to say just a couple words to introduce your piece?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. And I have two hungry pets here, so if they're disruptive, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say, of course, thank you to Touchstone, to Ksenia, and to the jurors. I'm honored to be a part of this show, and I was lucky enough to be a part of last summer's show as well, and had a fantastic experience at Touchstone. So I'm happy to maintain this relationship. So my work is a charcoal drawing called Abandoned, which is part of a series of frayed and somewhat destroyed American flags. I have about 10 pieces in the series. And this particular one came out of some collage work where I was working with a lot of cage and chain link imagery, because I was thinking about the children who are incarcerated in camps, I would call them, and how that, we had this sort of 5 minutes of outrage about it, and then there was 100 more things to be outraged after that, but they're still there. So that image just resonated with me. And I also just want to thank the gallery for this deadline of this show, because I think that piece would still be sitting on my wall unfinished at this point. It took a push to get through all those chain link pieces in the drawing. So thank you again. And thank you for pivoting in this time and figuring out how to do shows when we can't be there. And I hope that we all can be there in person sometime soon.
Yes, that would be absolutely fantastic to go back into actual setting. All right, thank you, Laura. And I see also here Rosa left. Well,
hello.
Hi.
So my piece is the very sarcastically titled "There Goes the Neighborhood." And I am a paper cut artist. I usually do very mundane things. So this was just something that's like maybe 2 blocks from my house. And it's just a row of like Baltimore City row homes. And it felt really perfect to me for this exhibit because I didn't think of it as an at all controversial piece. To me, it was kind of just like, okay, we got some bricks, we've got some stones, they're just homes. And then I went to promote this piece on Instagram. I usually promote, one a month or something like that. And it got banned because it was too controversial and it had a Black Lives Matter flag in it. And to me, like I live in a, very nice, predominantly white part of Baltimore, which is already a divided city. So in my thinking, it was like, oh, this is so nice. I can like exhale a little bit. And I know that walking around my neighborhood, I have tons of allies. I have all these people supporting me. And it was just this like really frustrating reminder that me feeling safe is something that is controversial or something that's threatening to other people. And so I think it was kind of perfect for the theme of what unites us and what divides us.
Thank you, Rose. And welcome back again to the gallery, to the exhibit. All right, and next, Cynthia Brownwell.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi, everyone. I'm double Zooming right now. I teach art history, so I have our division meeting on one screen and this on the other screen. So I take a breath and be here with you. And I just want to say, I feel so honored to be a part of this show. I want to thank the curators and the people involved in creating this show. I think it's much needed. And I was shocked that I got into it really because it was such a powerhouse of jurors, and I submitted because I just wanted to get my work on your radar. And so I just feel really deeply honored to be in company with this group of artists. So my piece is The Threads That Bind a Divided Nation, and it is a textile, I call them textile paintings. They are fragments from antique and vintage clothing and trims, and I did the United States flag out of these textiles, and also kept part of the composition, the divide between the Mason-Dixon line and the southern states. And I connected them with these long stitches that come out of the frame into the piece, connecting all the states, because I do think that a fundamental part of our foundation and the divide that we experience is the history of slavery, and the fact that our economy and so much of our country was built on that slave labor, and the idea of cotton as king, and these divisions that we see politically have everything to do with that history. And so, and the long stitches are just that there are so many ways, it's so tangled together that it's not even a north-south thing, but it's all intertwined and connected. So that's what those threads were all part of that fabric. So that's a little bit. And the palette of the work is predominantly in the white palette, but I purposefully look for textiles that are damaged and worn and degraded. I do that partially to kind of bring that fingerprint of history, of the historical, into the work, and also to explore the notions of whiteness as a construct that evokes a variety of signifiers, from purity to degradation and damage. So that's my piece.
Thank you, Cindy, and welcome to the show. Next, I would like to ask Emilia Maldonado.
Don't worry, for me it's very entertaining to see people trying to mention my last name. So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'm really thankful of being in this show. I wasn't thinking that I was gonna get in. I had it on my radar to apply, and it was like a thing that I made myself. Like, okay, Emilia, don't forget about this. So to be in such a gallery and this is my first time in any way that I feel that I'm on the radar on a way on that city, and it's been so far a great opportunity. So my piece is The Patriot, which consists of this sort of wheelchair rocket launcher that I made out of crutches, wheelchair and walkers, and it comes out because of my foreign nature to many of the dynamics of this country. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic, but my dad was Puerto Rican, and he was a World War II veteran. So he's like a very old man that had this experience and lived through this world that for me was just a tale. And the things that he would say are were very normal. The people that I grew up, the vision that I had as a kid of what was life and the world. And he used to say that the war were his most favorite years, that the best time of his life was when he was on the middle of the battlefield. And it is something I was raised to be a military kid, US citizen since birth. So I was like indoctrinated that you turn 18, you go and enlist. That's your duty. And when the Twin Towers event happened, I was in college, my first semester of college, and I by then had read enough, had enough of a thought to feel that things were not that easy. They were not as one-sided. The history of Latin America and all the invasions of the United States left a big impact on me. And this concept of war, of just militaristic culture, which is how I perceived it, seemed almost like a weird joke on a way, because it is like hijacking the sense of pride on one's country to just like make it a senseless sacrifice from my perspective through the time, through the way, and I saw it kind of like from a pacifist point of view. War is crippling in many ways, emotionally crippling. My dad was an individual that had like these very interesting, to say the least, notions of life. I saw my friends that did go and enlist, how they changed after doing a couple tours through Iraq and Afghanistan through the years. I wrestle all the time with, like, I don't understand how this country still supports such an expense and militaristic development, and it is also crippling in the sense of the economy. It's crippling to the families. Everyone knows somebody who has had somebody in the army or any of the armed branches that have felt it. So it was like a reaction to these ever revolving and ever evolving practice and kind of like a joke of sorts. But my work takes that perspective of my vision of many things are very, very different, and they don't even compare. My idea of blackness, I've been talking with my peers saying that lately I have to relearn myself as a Black man. Because in my country, the narrative is different. And the word that we use and the feelings that we adjudicate to these words are totally different. So I have had to learn so I can be present, but also so my, like, to understand the feelings of this culture, for me to understand what is maybe my duty from now on. So that's basically like where my piece comes from, and kind of like the perspective and feelings encased in it.
All right, thank you. Thanks for joining. Drive safe.
Yeah.
All right, and next, Alice Fornari.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. So my piece is called Paper or Plastic, and I'm a modular origamist, so I'm interested in working with other materials as opposed to like commercially made paper. I'm also a museum professional. I work at the Smithsonian as a technician, and normally when I go to a museum, I kind of take all the paper materials and I use those to kind of integrate the sustainability of recycling and how I feel about recycling, as well as integrating into how I work and what my job is, working with a lot of materials that you actually can't recycle, and internalizing that as a person in this era where you actually are doing a lot of harm by wasting all of these materials. So that's the excellent sort of like the philosophical explanation of the piece. But it is a 3-dimensional piece. I wish you guys could see it in person, but and walk around it. But I really appreciate the ability to have 3D art on display in the virtual gallery. It's a really important thing to have that, as well as the 2-dimensional. So, and if anybody ever has any questions, I'm on Instagram and I have email. So if you want to talk about modular origami or anything related to sustainable art, I'd be totally interested. But thank you again to Touchstone.
Thanks for joining us, and thank you. It does look pretty cool, actually, this 3D piece. All right, I just want to call in on the maybe last person, and Kaoru Shibuta. I see your name here, and I know you're joining us all the way from Japan. Am I right? I wanted to see if you can say a couple words about your piece. Let's see if we can connect.
I took a picture.
Hello? Carol, can you say a couple words about your piece?
He's muted.
He's muted. Okay, let's see if we can unmute. Hello, Carol? Can you hear us? Let's wait a second when he tries to. And we have just a couple more minutes, and let's see if we can connect with Japan. I think we can hear you. No? I hear some noise or something. You want to try to say something, Kaoru?
Hello?
Hello. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Can you hear?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting our exhibition.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Describe briefly your piece that we have in the show, and on that note, we're just going to wrap it up. So you have the last word.
Thank you.
If you could just say a couple words about your piece, about your artwork we have on display. I think we have a delay in the connection.
I translate music notes into my painting. Almost all classical music into the painting. I just painting. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. I think your piece in the show is
Thank you, Minya.
one of the most optimistic ones, actually. So it's a good note to finish on.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Show. All right, 6:02 p.m. We are closing our opening reception now. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye. Nice to see you.
Excellent job, Ksenia.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Great job.
Yeah.